Putin knew it. And he was just like, oh God, thank God we don't have cameras here.
Right.
So as time went on, people stopped paying attention to those taxes because we have the Kardashians and what is she wearing next? And let's get you confused by some other news show, or let's make a new hot topic that doesn't matter on the news. And then, you know, all the ties, it's all tied together. And I'm not a theorist. I don't have conspiracy theories in my head. I just draw lines directly where they're going from. People want control. People want you to not care about what they're doing, to be apathetic. They can turn up the water a little by little, and I hope I'm not confusing anybody by my allegories, but it's the same thing that's going on.
They're in good company. They're used to it.
Yeah, and little by little, you know, you just keep creating more and more and more and more taxation on programs that end it.
Right.
But don't let anybody know this. Nobody's going to ask questions after you keep them diverted or confused for a little while.
Right.
Because people have short attention spans.
Right, exactly.
Let me shut up now.
No. You're exactly right. You're actually making exactly the same points that, you know, that's why I was saying that, you know, you're going to fit right in here. And I'm sure it's even though the points are similar to a lot of the same points that I make, it's kind of coming from a different angle, similar points, but so it's good, I think, for people to hear.
Well, I wanted to argue with you. This is I'm out of here.
Right. But no, I mean, you know, I'm sure that we'll find something to disagree about. But
I sure hope so. This wine's great.
But you know, it's really frustrating the amount of complacency that exists. You know, I was just talking to some guys at work, or a particular individual, a specific individual, exactly about that, and you know, I was talking about, for example, fluoride and aspartame and things of that nature. And
good topic.
Poor guy, he's diabetic, which I didn't know at first. You know, and he was drinking a can of Diet Coke, and you know, me being the protector, you know, personality that I have, I'm like, don't do it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I see that I just see the skull and crossbones. You know, I don't see
it for what it is.
Exactly. So, you know, and I was, you know, telling him it has aspartame, and, you know, telling him what aspartame does, and the fact that the United States is the only country that allows it. Every other country in the world outlaws it, and it's considered a poison. You know, there has to be a reason why we're the only country that actually uses it in our food. And you know, he explains, well, I'm a diabetic, I don't have a choice. Okay, well, I have to leave that one alone. But that just
does have a choice. There's a lot of natural choices out there, and I hope people to make them. And I'm not going to get into that right now.
Right. Well, that's great. That's a good point, and a point that I wouldn't think to make myself. So please continue on that line.
Well, no, there's definitely choices, etc. But I don't want to veer off topic with that. Yeah, I've been noticing the dumbing down of everything, and you know, that's a very confusing topic for most people. The pineal gland and fluoride, etc.
Right.
But you know, if you do your research, you can find out what fluoride is for.
Right.
They used it in concentration camps. It created apathy in the prisoners. Right. You ever wonder, like, why did these people let this happen? They didn't. There was legislation. There was political propaganda that led up to it. Then once the people were in the camps, they're like, this is for your safety right now. You know, trust us. We're the government. Why would we do harm to you? And little by little, things unfolded. Well, they pumped steady streams of fluoride into these people, and it made them apathetic, lethargic. They stopped feeding them as much. They took control over food. This kind of seems scary when you see things in our own country leading in that direction. Maybe not under the same guise, but at the same time under the same guise.
Right, exactly. And then and it's frustrating when you
Monsanto.
Have it. Oh man, don't even get me started. But no, it is frustrating when you speak to individuals about these things, and you know, they want to dismiss you as just being crazy, conspiracy theorists, whatever, and then you can say, no, I can show you where recent studies and this and that, and they still just don't want to look at it. No, it's okay. I just want to continue to do. So, as you know, for example, that topic led to fluoride. And I was talking about fluoride and a recent study with a recent Harvard study showing. 3 different Harvard studies showing that it lowers your IQ, especially in children. Which, first of all, why would they be giving us something that lowers the IQ, especially of children? Well, you got to get them young. Children's minds are like little sponges. You know, the earlier you can get it, the earlier you can manipulate it. But you know, he just doesn't want to look at it. Doesn't want to see it. I'm trying to break down to him this is what's gonna blow your mind. You have your toothpaste that says do not consume more than, or do not swallow more than a pea-sized amount of this product. If you do, contact poison control immediately. The same amount of fluoride in a pea-sized amount of toothpaste is equivalent to a glass of tap water. but they don't tell you to call poison control when you drink a glass of tap water.
It's because they're addicted. I stopped eating toothpaste long ago. It was hard. Got to chase that dragon, but no. Yeah, it is very interesting. But if you have people not, realizing it, and they don't want to realize it. Most people don't want to wake up, man. It's hard to get up for school. You know that,
right? Right. No, people don't want to wake up. They don't want to be shaken. They don't want to be shaken out of their slumber. Ignorance is bliss. That's what the guy kept screaming. Ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know. What I don't know won't hurt me.
Oh yes, it will.
But I just told you how it will hurt you. So your argument doesn't make any sense. Well, I have too much to worry about. I'm an old man.
Do you know what? My grandmother, she passed with like probably 50 to 70% of her body covered in cancer. She was the template for diet drinks. Now, those cancers don't occur to that rate in just regular people. I mean, you can die of any cancer, but cancers, it's not just something that appears. You have to feed them, etc., which goes into your alkaline water sponsor. Right. This stuff is science. This isn't theories. This isn't conspiracies, etc. These diet drinks, my grandmother, I know for a fact that all that saccharin and aspartame and everything she used to try to keep thin and stay away from this evil sugar led to that. And that's just science. Can't really deny it. I don't want to believe it either.
Yeah, no, who does? Who does? I mean, you don't want to have to look at these things, but I mean, if you want to keep it, my biggest issue, and if anyone's who's listened to past episodes, my biggest thing that I always kind of drive on is self-preservation. There doesn't seem to be any sense of self-preservation, and even if you don't have a sense of self-preservation, if you have a family, if you have kids, and you don't care about yourself, fine. But if you have children, you have a family. You should have, I would imagine, if you're at least a halfway decent person, want to make sure that their life is as rich and fulfilling and not as full of harm, chemicals and harm by their government as possible. You should want to do something, at least make the effort to want to do something.
Well, I'm sorry, one of my sponsors is chemicals, so I can't back up your statement there. This episode is sponsored by chemicals. Good for you and your family. Eat now. All right, that's not true. No, you're exactly right. People stay so busy. Think about, gosh, man, there's just so much you can go on a topic. But think about suggestive speaking, okay? Okay. That is true. You can repeat, sure. And people remember, correct? Well, they're constantly pumped with information, not only from the internet, on TV, radio shows, etc., endorsing all these products. You don't really think about them as being bad. You think of it as normal. So McDonald's, whatever. Can I say McDonald's? Because they're not paying me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to use their name.
Because they're not paying me.
You get this pumped into your head, so it becomes a normal word and a normal thought process. And so people don't think. They're like, oh yeah, let's go here. I'm loving it. And they don't weigh it up in their head that this might not be good for me. Now, I'm not saying, going to McDonald's one time is going to kill you, but I won't go there once. I won't take my kids there on purpose. I don't believe in it, so I stand behind my faith, and I give my kids good stuff. I'll go catch something fresh, or I'll, go to another supermarket and pick out something that I cooked myself. I know what its origin is at, for the most part. And then there's the whole other topic of chemicals and hormones in beef.
Sure.
So let's not go there right now. Let's stay on point.
No, that's right along the line. Absolutely. And we're the same in our house as well. My son does not eat fast food whatsoever. We try to keep everything as natural as possible.
I just don't believe in clowns or kings. So sorry.
Or clown kings. So Obama, essentially. So, no.
Who that?
Who that be?
I've been listening to Iggy.
A couple of news topics I wanted to go over here, at least a couple of headlines. This one was really pretty interesting, actually. Secret Service investigates photo of ISIS flag outside the White House. Did you see that?
No.
Really, really interesting. It was on. It comes to you from Infowars.com.
Damn it, more to think about.
Yeah, I know, right? Shows a couple pictures there, so if you visit their site, the Secret Service may consider an image of the ISIS flag displayed on a smartphone outside the White House as a potential terrorist threat. It's got a picture there of somebody holding up a cell phone in front of the White House. It looks like what would you call that? A Twitter, I guess, from Twitter. that they put up. It says, "We are in your state, we are in your cities, we are in your streets."
I will call that a crappy photo. But yes.
You are our goals anywhere. I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, they're speaking broken English,
right?
So
yeah,
they're doing their best.
They lost me on that.
Come on, man, give them props. No, don't give them props. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, that is pretty scary.
But you know what? When they're invited in, I
Right.
could have predicted this 15 years ago.
But here's the thing. Here's my thing: is that that's scary if it's true. Last part, the operative part, word being if, because having the kind of mindsets and that people like us have, and knowing history as it is or as it were, there's a good possibility that this is just fear mongering, and another kind of a miniature false flag, just kind of something to keep people on their toes and worried. Another excuse to increase police in the streets and increase TSA reach. You know what? It's very interesting, and here's where we can have our little argument, because I look forward to arguments with you. That can be taken two ways. Okay, on the one note, America, due to the liberal and democratic parties, has adopted the philosophy of let's spread our legs and let anybody in. Right.
It sounds good. Why should we ever deny somebody who wants to come and feel good with us? And the Republicans were like, no, we shouldn't do this, blah, blah, blah. You can't just let people in. There should be a process, etc. And, we've already fell. We're already at that place where people can just enter in. So America's legs are spread. So when somebody like this enters into the country, whether it's true or not, and it is true in some cases, we've seen it.
Sure.
We'll get into the false flag in just a moment. You asked for it. You asked for everybody to come into your country, right. Period. That's, you had enough people crying and saying, just let everybody in. That's what happens. No process, no borders, etc. And this is going to happen. Now, false flags, that's a different topic, because that is an operation. In order for me to sell a pharmaceutical, for me to sell a cure, I have to create a disease. So, yes, I know for a fact, and you can go back into U.S. history, that our own agencies have created false flags in order to create a state of fear. I'm probably going to alienate a lot of people as fans, but Bush really preyed on that himself.
Oh, yeah.
And I was not against Bush, but I can't deny that he created fear. And just more and more. And I got to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to turn on the TV. There's no red alert. There's no red anything.
Right.
You guys are just trying to keep everybody in a state of fear. That's not how it works.
Right.
How about we just have a little bit realistic... Actually, before we had that, you couldn't just enter the country. You had to show your papers,
right.
What you're doing, where you're going to stay. And that's not tyrannical, is it?
What's that?
To come into our country legally... Show your papers, show your ID, and state what you're going to be doing in the country.
Well, I mean, that's what's done all over the rest of the world. I don't see why it should be any different here.
Yeah, so I don't see that as tyranny.
Right. No, absolutely.
So why were the Democrats and liberals all against it?
Right, exactly. Well, and that's my point, is that, another point that I've made on this subject several times, is that the bottom line for me, first of all, because a lot of people, when they start hearing, especially liberals, when they start hearing you speak out against immigration, especially what's going on now with the complete annihilation of our border as it is, that their automatic go-to is that you're racist and you want to keep it. They play the race card.
Well, you and I are two different races.
Right, and here's my thing. First of all, I'm half Puerto Rican. My family, from my father's side, are all Puerto Rican, from Puerto Rico. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So obviously, I don't have anything against immigration. My point is that entire argument is irrelevant, because, in my personal opinion, based on past American historical events, that it has nothing to do with oh, come here because we love you. It has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with humanitarianism.
Always a bigger purpose.
Right, exactly. Just like we were talking about with the tax. If you know anything about the attempts to create the North American Union, then you can see why this is something that would benefit the current powers, or what the powers that be in general, whether the current, past, future, whatever the case may be, because it's all two sides of the same coin anyway, which is another topic
all right,
altogether.
you wanted to open Pandora's box. You did it. Fine.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
I love Pandora's box and
Let's do it.
gas. Yeah. So.